Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. All right, let's see who was here first. Connie Balmer. Thank you so much for being here first. All right. Only 55 people? Well, I like to play to a small audience some days. But remember, there are no small guests, only small audiences. Or is it there's no small part, only small actors? Um, okay. Well, I took a nice nap. Then I woke up and I was like, eh, yeah, maybe. So here I am. Okay. I don't know why that changes like that, but let me put it back to a normal size. There we go. Takes up too much space. Excellent. Capito. So we had heard a bit of a pushback earlier. Well, it seems as though the Sussex's communication team has really kicked into gear. So Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan still developing TV, films, and docs at Netflix. There's no juicy story here. Now, I'm not just saying that. Um, the relationship with Netflix continues for the Sussexes. There have, I mean, if Harry and Meghan are not serious about being Hollywood producers, with Love, Meghan, Archetype, Harry and Meghan, the docuseries, and of course the project that Harry worked on with Oprah Winfrey, The Me You Can't See. They've had Polo, Hearts of Invictus, Live to Lead, a production with the estate of Nelson Mandela. And then, of course, the big numbers that was brought in for Suits. Well, listen, we don't really give it much thought, but Suits, that was a huge amount of people being pulled into the Netflix orbit. And why did that happen? Because of Suits, because of Meghan, because of Meghan. And then most recently, the Masaka kids, and they just finished this. Hasn't been released yet, has it? The Cookie Queens, and then whatever else they're working on. So they've been busy. They've been busy. Um, I don't want to have to go and dig out JJ. What's his name again? But there is a lesson to be learned from that. There's a lesson to be learned for that. Even the biggest and the brightest can expect to have some level of difficulty trying to get anything in production these days. And people are very cautious about the money that they invest. And the whole idea of producing something, I don't believe there is any type of award for producers that I know of, at least not from the the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. I don't think there is an award for producers. But producers are an integral part of how movies get made. They themselves have a vision. They themselves are not just a blank check, but they themselves have artistic ambitions. They have a vision just as clear as anyone. And far too often, they are the financial backers. They are the ones who have to go out and find more money. No one wants to leverage their entire income or their entire savings to try to get something off the ground. You want to spread that risk around. That's the way it's always been done. But by the time we see something, I think a lot of people underestimate exactly what has gone into the concept to the finished product. And Harry and Meghan wants to be a part of that. Um, Harry, because he's been exposed to media his entire life, has an interest in production. And Meghan, of course, well, she's been around the media her entire life. They are uniquely placed um, for this type of work. They really are. Even Howard Hughes. Look at Howard Hughes, a pilot, a man of mechanical science. Even he got into production. There's a lot of people that like to produce movies, and everybody has their own reason why they're there. There's no two people that are alike, but it's not just driven by money. It's not just money. It is being able to produce something that is going to outlast you, something that will be part of your legacy, something that will inform, entertain. There's a lot of reasons why people become producers. And I'm, for one, am just exhausted of people um, putting them down as though they expect everything to be easy. Like they're going to say, "Hi, we're Harry and Meghan. We want to do such and such." They don't expect everybody to just fall in line because of who they are. Like Meghan said, I wasn't expecting it to be easy, but I at least thought it would be fair. Give me a fair fight and then let me compete. Let me win on my own merits. But if you're going to undermine me from the beginning, then it's not fair. Everything they do, there's an army, an entire army of media people, of people on social media trying to undermine everything that they do. And yet somehow they have been incredibly successful. And I just don't think they get enough credit for that. But in spite of everything, they have been incredibly successful. And they will continue to be successful as executive producers, of course, and everything else that they try. Whatever whatever they're trying to do, I'm all in. Except for this last product drop that Meghan had. I don't think I'm going to get any flowers anytime soon. Thank you anyway, Your Royal Highness. A little bit too rich for my blood, but I'm with you with everything else. But that one, not so much. I'm excited for the other people that get them. Take some pictures, share that with us. But it can't be me. It can't be me. But I'm excited for the other people. But yeah, so their relationship with Netflix continues. Don't worry about these all the noise that you're hearing from other people. They have been an incredible uh, asset to the Netflix. Their celebrity, the weight of their celebrity, has brought a lot of people over to Netflix, and that continues. And also, Netflix, if you think about how ridiculous this is, Netflix has made a fortune from The Crown. Have they not? I mean, I don't think The Crown is very accurate most days, but as a drama, as a reimagined story of actual events, I think it's excellent. The first 3 seasons of The Crown, I thought they were absolutely amazing, excellent. But then it went into a bit of a downward spiral, especially after the Queen died. It was just like not so good anymore. they were trying to do too much. I believe after the Queen died, they began writing their scripts from Clarence House or Kensington Palace, and it's not unusual for the the firm. It's not unusual for the firm to make their appearance in the writing room, literally and figuratively. They become part of the writers. We've learned this from Meghan, actually. If you recall, the um, the firm wanted Rachel Zane to be a little bit less sexy. They wanted Rachel Zane with higher collars and longer skirts and all that kind of stuff. And they got their way. They got their way. That's why I always tell you guys, I would love to be able to say, F the firm. Harry and Meghan are not over there anymore. Anybody that turns their back on a powerful institution like that is a fool. Is a fool. And I'm going to go as far as to say those people are dangerous. The people that work for them are even worse. Anytime someone takes security from an infant and their parents in the middle of the wilderness, figuratively speaking, of course, in the middle of a global pandemic where most people are locked inside their homes, you don't want to turn your back on people like that. I said what I said, and I say that with my full chest. You don't turn your back on people like that. Now, I can't tell the Sussexes what's what is up and down, but that is just the benefit of my opinion. You cannot underestimate those people. Mm-mm. There's too much history there, way too much history. I don't want to give them more credit than what they deserve, but I'm not going to underestimate them either. Dangerous people. Let's see, I made this comment on other videos, but keep in mind Variety, Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, Rolling Stone, etc., are owned by a billionaire MAGA. Yeah, that Pinsky guy. I didn't know that that was his name, but yeah, this guy owns a mountain of publications, almost to the point, if you name like the top 50 publications, it's easier for you to say what he doesn't own than what he does own. So a lot of these publications are speaking from one voice, from one source. Just like with the movies, just like with the news, or if you just want to say the media covering music, the news, motion pictures, and television, there's just a handful of people that own everything. Which is why when the Dixie Chicks were abroad and they made disparaging comments about George Bush and how embarrassed they were that this man with a sixth grade education had taken us to war for weapons of mass destruction that did not even exist, they were yanked from, I believe it was around 2,000 radio stations across these United States. They refused to play their music. That's the power that these people have. Now, let's say said billionaire is friends with, I don't know, Charles III, Camilla, or just someone in the government or whatever. And they have an agenda. We need to get Andrew. We need to get these shady characters and their association with the royal family off the front pages. How are we going to do that? Well, we'll just come up with some cock and bull story about how Netflix and the Sussexes and the honeymoon is over, the gloves are off, that the people at Netflix are exhausted of the Sussexes. And it's easy money because, well, I mean, after all, that sells. And so you have one man who owns multiple publications, right? And across those publications, a fortune has just been made because one publication is quoting another. They're all running each other's story. Let me show you this. Let me show you this. I saved it, but I didn't use it. By the way, thank you so much for your comment, Jedi Lady. Netflix done with Sussexes. And of course, they find an image of Harry and Meghan looking rich and out of touch, looking as though they are just so in love with each other, they don't see the world around them. You have another one where they're off on a ski holiday. You know, not that they were actually working, but of course, that's meant to be a ski holiday. And of course, there they are with those Netflix cameras again, another negative connotation. And then, of course, at some point, it all ends in tears because now they realize the folly of their efforts. I mean, there's a whole entire storyline with this headline here. They were rich and privileged. They were in love and didn't pay attention to what was going on around them. They were taking frequent ski holidays and enjoying the camera and the attention. And then finally, it ends in tears. You know, once you learn how to read these things, then you cannot unsee it. You cannot unsee it. But listen, to be able to read this properly, you have to remove the emotional triggers. I know that's not easy. But just remember, it's not exactly personal for some, it's just money. And then for others, they're just racist. Then, of course, that's pretty personal. But whatever the case may be, there's an agenda there. There is an agenda. And if they can make some money while being racist, then so be it. But the relationship with Netflix continues, and they have reached out and said as much. The Sussexes, whoever's doing their PR, you know, they have definitely earned their keep because this needed to be dealt with fast. Because you don't want to go out of the country with a bunch of baggage. You don't want to go out of the country with a clouds over your head. That's no way to start a trip abroad. So the Netflix Sussex relationship has been beneficial to everyone that's involved. And like I keep saying over and over again, I don't know how you can say someone is losing if the check cleared. I still don't get how that happens. I mean, I know that sounds a bit crass and maybe even tacky when I say that, but it's the truth. It is the truth. This is the United States. This is not the UK. We are a meritocracy. We believe in hard work and earning lots of money. And we don't hate on people earning money. We ask them, how'd you do that? Tell me everything. That's all we want to know is it available for us too? How'd you do that? That's why people make a fortune with those seminars and classes and such, because they want to help you help them help you. In other words, they just really need your money, but you might learn something. And listen, even if some of those courses are not exactly what they're supposed to be, it's part of an overall exercise. This is why some of those internet cafes are so valuable. You want to be around other successful people. You want to be around people that you can bounce some ideas off of. So, if you've taken one of those courses of wealth building or something like that, and you're still not rich, don't feel bad. As long as you're moving in that direction, I just believe that whatever effort you put out, you're going to get something in return. So don't lose faith. If you are working on some type of product, if you are working on some kind of business or something like that, keep moving in that direction. Stay away from negative people. Stay away from people that do not want to see you succeed. That's why Harry and Meghan are in a great position, because they are surrounded by other successful people. And do not underestimate Harry's ability to adapt, to learn, to master the game. Do not underestimate him, because let's face it, this guy has flown one of the most complicated pieces of military hardware. I don't know if you guys understand how flying a helicopter works, but it's something that you're doing with both hands and both feet. Okay? You're doing it coordinating with your hands and your feet. You become one with the machine. And that's something that his dim-witted brother, he can fly those basic helicopters. Harry could practically turn that thing upside down, which is not even what those things are supposed to do. But he was exceptional, gifted. And of all people, Big Back Becky English said so herself. She said so herself before she, turned into a Oompa Loompa. So I say these things because I don't want you guys to suffer under the weight of all of this negativity, because everything is very different from what the tabloids would have you believe. But yeah, they're still the it couple, the ideal couple, and people respond to the way they respond to each other. Netflix has stepped in to swat down yet another overcooked variety narrative, making it clear its partnership with Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex isn't falling apart. Speaking at the company's next on Netflix presentation, Chief Content Officer Bella Bajara confirmed that the multi projects remain in development across television, film, and documentary. Her remarks follow a wave of recent reports suggesting the streamer had begun distancing itself from the couple. The message from Netflix was clear: the relationship continues. Now, here's a quote from Bella Bajara. Netflix Chief Content Officer Bella Bajara on Wednesday batted down, that is, reporting that the streamer has been distancing itself from Markle and Prince Harry. She said, I would say, don't believe whatever you read. That's what she says. She said about the recent stories in Variety reporting on Netflix falling out with the Montecito based couple. Maybe we should all do a little fact checking, but here's the thing: we still have a relationship with them. We have movies in development with them. We have an amazing documentary with them. They have things in development on the TV and film side. But Bajara added, deals come and go all the time, and we don't renew so many deals, and those don't get as much press for obvious reasons. I guess so. There's no juicy story here. Now, that is a quote directly from her. There is no juicy story here. And that was Bella Bajara, um, quoted in The Hollywood Reporter. Bajara's comments echoed earlier statements from Netflix, which had already described reports of a falling out as inaccurate. So, Netflix shut down fallout narrative as media claims unravel. Hollywood is a ruthless business. Netflix is not a charity and does not keep people around out of kindness, sentiment, or obligation. If the company wanted to cut ties with Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex, it would do so without hesitation. Instead, its chief content officer, Bella Bajara, publicly said, "Don't believe what you read. Don't believe whatever you read. We have movies in development with them. We have an amazing documentary with them. They have things in development on the TV and film side." That was not vague, secondhand, anonymous reporting. This is verifiable information coming from Netflix. What made this episode stand out even further was not just the tone of the reporting, but the fact that the original Variety story already included on the record denials from both Netflix and the Sussex's attorney. That was in a Variety story. Those statements were clear, yet they were sidelined in favor of anonymous claims that drove the headlines for many publications. It created the impression that unnamed sources were being given more weight than verifiable attributed responses. Isn't that something? The information was there, but that's not what they would put on the big headline. So, Deadline, following up, only sharpened, that is, the contrast. In fact, it undercut the central narrative. Despite operating within the same Penske media group as Variety and The Hollywood Reporter, the shift was noticeable and frankly welcome. The earlier piece had leaned heavily on unattributed commentary, and it quickly gained traction online, with readers repeating its claim as fact. This is the kind of stuff that a deranger, they don't even read it before they share it with someone. And they may not read it, but then they too will add that to their social media feed. That reaction speaks to a wider pattern. Stories about Harry and Meghan Sussex often gather momentum before the details are fully verified, then require correction and clarification once the full picture emerges. In this case, the gap between what was claimed and what was confirmed was difficult to ignore. Which, by the way, the United States is in a military conflict, or if you want to say it like this, a war. And yet, for several hours yesterday, the US version of the Daily Mail had this. If you opened up the app, that is what you would see once the app was opened. Not war, not bombs and explosions, but Netflix done with the Sussexes. That was so important. While lives are lost, they thought it was more important to, I guess, whet people's appetite with this idea that it's all going to come crashing down. And who was that? Was it Ingrid Seaweed that said, "I'm just afraid that in 5 years, this all going to end in tears"? Isn't that what one of those people said? then I'm afraid it's going to all end in tears. While the Sussexes just keep on keeping on. And it's not illegal. It's unethical, but it's not illegal that a person can own several publications, one contradicting the other, all of them part of a universe, like the Marvel universe, right? You know, the way the Marvel comics, how they all seem to feed off of each other, how they are all part of a much greater story. Well, that's how these tabloids are. The Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, Variety. And there's a lot of people that trust the name Variety because, you know, it goes back such a long way. But that is what's so sinister about these right wingers buying these, you know, historic, old, um, very well known publications. And then they hire a bunch of reporters from the British tabloids. I mean, that is a huge export. Reporters from the British tabloids. And they really do an effective job of driving public opinion. I'd be lying if I said it doesn't work, but it does. It does. It is very difficult to combat it. It's always difficult to disprove a negative. And if you've ever followed politics, you have seen this play out over and over again, which is why they always say never let your opponent define you. Never let your opponent define who you are because it's very difficult to come back from that. People are not very likely to believe whatever you say because someone has already created a narrative. They have already come up with a storyline. They have found a way to describe you from start to finish. And people are just not likely to give you a chance to respond because not only do they arm them with the lies, they also arm them with a rebuttal. They tell them exactly how to combat the truth. And a lot of times, these people aren't even aware of it. They don't know that they have been sold a bill of goods. But if they're a nasty, hostile person, it comes easy. I look at some of the content creators. Um, oh my goodness, I had the misfortune of seeing this woman who hates Oprah Winfrey, hates her. I mean, she literally cannot stand Oprah Winfrey. I mean, she's made some very valid points, but she also had an agenda. And then it wasn't long before I scrolled through her previous videos, and there they were, Harry and Meghan. And not just Harry and Meghan, she in particular has it in for anyone who is rich, black, and successful. That is her number one target. That is her number one target. If you're black and successful, she's going to tear you down. She's going to find every possible way. And then, okay, this is also something that I heard from another hater where they admitted this is not exactly what I wanted to talk about. I didn't start this channel. They said I didn't start this channel to talk about these things. But when I tried to figure out what you all are going to respond to, I find myself right back here with Harry and Meghan, or Oprah Winfrey, or Venus and Serena Williams. And of course, everybody else you can think of, mostly those of African descent. that is a common thread, is that it's not only that they find it easy, but they also have an agenda because of their right wing values, because of their nationalist values. It's very easy for them to target certain people. And she was frustrated because she couldn't go back and find episodes of Oprah that she could build a case with. Oprah was really smart. Oprah has very deep pockets. And if you try to find certain episodes of Oprah Winfrey, you're a good one if you can find it. Because a lot of her stuff has been scrubbed from the internet, and it can be done. And Beyonce is also very good at having things removed. And it may not seem right that they do that, but let me tell you, I think it's better than the alternative, and that is having these things used against you. Because not everybody is there to tell the truth. Some people are just there to destroy you. Some people are just there to destroy you. They're not interested in truth. They're not interested in fairness. They are interested in the wholesale destruction of you. So if you can afford to take down those things, I say you should. Oh my goodness, Joan Lawman, what have you done? Joan Lawman has just gifted 5 Royal Sussex memberships. Well, thank you so much for that. I really, really do appreciate that. And congratulations in advance to anyone who was fortunate enough to receive them. Okay. And remember, if you do have those memberships, go back and take a look at some of those member only videos where we really let our hair down. We really get to the nitty gritty of things. So there is the, oh gosh, which one is that one? I think that is is that the Deadline? Yeah, that one is from Deadline. And where's the other one? Oh, The Hollywood Reporter. There you go. Bella Bajar responds to report of Netflix distancing itself from Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and Prince Harry, Her Royal Highness Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. So there you go. They contradict one another, and they're all owned by the same person. Go figure. Okay. Walked in to see a lovely Meghan-esque bouquet delivered to my desk. You never know the twists and turns life can take, but I'm determined not to take for granted the joys that find me. Isn't that something? You know what I love about this is that the soft life, luxury, elevation, all of those things, um, people increasingly are thinking Meghan, Meghan, Meghan. And that's when you know you're really making progress. When your lifestyle has such a big impact on other people that they think luxury and they think of you, that is always a good thing because it lets you know that your work is being recognized by people that want to bring more comfort and more beauty into their lives. And you know that they're using you as an inspiration. So, of course, in this case, beautiful flowers on my desk. Not only are they enjoying the fact that someone thought about them, but the elevation of the area, the elevation in the room, they're thinking Meghan Sussex, Meghan Sussex. I like that because I do believe that the With Love Meghan has definitely made a lot of people consider what to cook for dinner, what kind of candles to buy, um, crafting for the first time. You know, if you've never crafted something before, it is so rewarding. It is very rewarding. On television, on some TV shows, they make it seem like people that craft are people who can't afford to buy things for other people for Christmas or for their birthday. No, it's very personal. It's very hands-on. And it's just as rewarding to you, the person that is crafting something, whether you're cooking, whether you're making candles, whatever you're doing, it is actually very rewarding for you, equally, if not more rewarding than it is to the person that you're giving these gifts to. And as you can see from Meghan's video, where she's literally out there um, arranging flowers and such, it seems like, oh, what difference does it make? You just throw them in the vase. No, it makes a difference. It makes a difference because every time you do it, you're getting better. You're developing an eye for what works with what. So it's a good thing and it's relaxing. It's a way to enjoy the space that you're paying a fortune to be in. So even I have like a kit full of glue and little accessories that I thought I was going to do a project and all that kind of stuff. I love doing stuff like that. I like to fix things that are broken. You know, some things I have to repair over and over again because it wasn't so good that first time, but I'm getting there. And so now when I do these things, I'm thinking about Meghan. So that's a good thing. Meghan is definitely making an impact, and this is some of the best evidence right here. I didn't put the name of the person who posted that because I don't think I actually follow them on social media. So I chose not to use the name. But yeah, those are some beautiful flowers, though. And I'm not sure, is that a box of tissues or is that a gift in the background there behind the flowers on the right side? Cannot tell, but wow. How would that affect your day if you came in and that was waiting on your desk? How would that change your day? For the better, I'm sure. Okay, I want to share this with you. Okay, I think this is it.
It's beautiful.
Thanks.
It's so pretty and pink.
Thanks so much. Are you having fun, my love? Archie. Yes, I think you can. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. So those were the two videos from the past couple days, back to back. So yeah, when you think elevation, just say to yourself, what would Meghan do? All right. So Kitty was out and about today. You may remember earlier, I pointed out that there's a new air hostess in the family. First, of course, there was Carol Middleton, who worked for British Airways. But her daughter didn't exactly follow in mom's footsteps, not immediately, but she definitely dresses in a very similar manner. Kate very well could have been a flight attendant. I mean, you just take a look at what she wore today to greet the delegation, the leader of Nigeria, and she could have fit right in at Pan Am or Braniff. Oh man, you are old if you remember Braniff Airlines. Braniff. That was a real company out of Texas, known for their uniforms. And take a look there at Kate. I told you, I could just imagine Kate working as a flight attendant, doing that presentation, a safety presentation before the flight. I mean, so what if some people don't know exactly what she's talking about? It doesn't matter. She'll do a lot of hand gestures, right? And I'm pretty sure you'll figure out what she means. Imagine briefing the press that you run the show only to be left standing outside the marquee like an extra. That is interesting, isn't it? William wants everybody to believe that he's the brains behind the operation, right? That he's the one that's coming up with all the tough choices for his Uncle Andrew. Yeah, and that he's telling his father what should and should not happen. And yet, when greeted by a world leader, the so-called global statesman is standing off to the side with the air hostess. Not very dignified, I'm afraid. Not very dignified. Yes, I know there is certain protocols, but you know, those things can adjust either way. I think Will and Kate should have just been in a position not so visible. You know what I mean? There was no real reason why they had to be there. I know that the government has their way of doing things. I know the royal family has their way, but traditions are made to be broken. I mean, look at Camilla. She shouldn't be up there. She should be working in one of them houses. Like if somebody refers to her as madam, they can really mean what they say and say what they mean. You know what I'm saying? Madam Parker Bowles. Madam. Oh well. But this is part of that ongoing series called Yes, This Is Really Your Life, Kate. This is really your life. Earlier today, she was kind of caught off guard, or yesterday, should I say, looking sad and pitiful, a little lost in her thoughts, she were, because she's on the edge. Every day, she's moving closer and closer to the edge. This is not exactly what she wanted. You cannot tell me that stepping into that marriage all those years ago that she would find monotonous things like this to be interesting, because they're not. Who knows where she would rather be, but not here. Not here. But I do often wonder exactly what is she thinking about? How did it all get so bad? What went wrong? How comes it seems like my husband is not so interested in me? Why is he always taking trips with his friends? Air quotes, friends. Who knows? And then, of course, emaciated. Is that the word I'm looking for? Exhausted and emaciated. If you're not happy, it is going to come out one way or the other. I believe that 2024 was a very bad year for Kate. She may have had surgeries, or maybe she didn't. I don't know. We have to allege those things, but just seems to me like she's a deeply unhappy person. And it seems to me that her husband is even worse. The only thing that they have going for themselves is that they have each other and they have kids that they share. But other than that, not much enthusiasm over in Camp Wells's, is it? Not much at all. It kind of whets the appetite where you just really want to know what goes on over at the Forest Lodge. Whatever it is, I hope they shield it from those kids as long as possible. I would prefer those kids, like any child, would have a very um, good upbringing, right? Instead of a bunch of negativity going back and forth between Willie and his pa, Willie and Kitty, Kitty and whoever else. They don't deserve that. Let those kids be kids. I know they look like they escaped from Madame Tussauds, right? And then, of course, leave it to the derangers. They just won't stop doing this. They won't stop. They keep this thing of like they're the Brady Bunch or the Partridge Family. It was kind of fun the first time I saw it, but now it's just sick. It's disturbing. And it's kind of funny. What are the derangers thinking? Is this wishful thinking by the derangers? I'm like, geez, Louise, what is going on with those people? But if if anything like this ever happened, the only thing I could think is, oh God, please let them play the theme from Benny Hill. Please cue the Benny Hill music. Whatever happens, play Benny Hill. Oh, I get it. Louis. Louis is playing the trumpet like Louis Armstrong. I get it now. And then what kind of dance do you think that Charlotte is doing? Charlotte is doing one of those dances from the TikTok. And then as for their brother, oh wait, this AI is really bad because it looks like he's standing on the bench where his mother is playing those two notes over and over again. That's it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, but it's also very weird. Oh gosh, if they did roll those kids out there to do that, you know what? I'd be a fan. I would be a fan of those kids if they actually did something like that. I would tell them to fire the piano player, but I would actually be obsessed with those kids if that's what they were really capable of. Little Louis Windsor. Yeah, love that. Okay. It's fun. AI is at it again. Okay. Well, um, part of what's happening right now is they're trying to cover William and his father. The Sussex soldier says, but they have no time to no time to do real investigation into relationship between Prince William and his Earthshot co-founder and pervert and torture watching video person. Um, is he still an Earthshot co-founder? Did William return the 1 million he gave to Earthshot? I doubt it. I doubt it. Allow the press to do their work, and this too shall blow over. I think that's what the royals do quite often is they just don't do anything. They let the press um, do away with them with those stories. They let the press get rid of those stories, or at least to shout them down and replace them with some other thing. But they don't have to worry. There's always someone to do their dirty work. Speaking of dirty work, do you guys recognize this person that looked like she escaped from a women's prison? Actually, I take that back. She looks like she escaped from a men's prison. About time they caught on. Um, this is the one who said some terrible things about Prince Archie. That one. Well, she's back. Spare us the girls' weekend, Meghan. Meghan has passed from the ranks of royalty to that of pay by the hour celebrity. As if we are going to assume that Meghan is the only royal who's been at an event. We know that Charles has been a guest of honor at a fundraiser of some sort, a money grab. We know William has. And those are the two senior most royals today. Other members of the royal family have, but it's only an issue because it's Meghan. Now, Julie Burchill was fired from the Telegraph for a racist joke about Meghan's baby. Now she's back at the Spectator inventing stories about events that haven't happened yet for a paycheck. She admits she's only writes about Meghan when she is commissioned to do so. She is a professional troll who uses Meghan's name to pay her bills because her own talent only gets her fired for racism. Imagine needing Meghan to survive. Pathetic. It is not critique, it is a career built on bigotry and desperation. Wow. We got another good writer in the family, King, whoever this is. That is very good. That is very good. What a missed opportunity. They could have called speaker. This is, I can't even say the words, but you could see it there on the screen. This is a reference to the birth of Lily. She tweeted this at the time when Lily was born. Okay. I think we know what she's trying to say. And she wasn't the only one. This Joanna Tock. But I'll just leave that there for you. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't, but I'll just leave that there for you so you can look through it yourself because I don't even want to repeat any of that stuff. But yeah, back in 2021, she and this person on her social media, oh, they were having a field day. I may have this in the wrong order. Maybe the wider one should be on the left side. Not sure. But yeah, she's a nasty piece of work. And she is for hire. She is for hire. When you commission her, she will go after the Sussexes. All you have to do is offer whatever the standard pay is for such things. And bear in mind, you guys, some of these people, they make as little as a few $100s per um, article. Some of them are not making a lot of money at all. But it's almost like being an apprentice. They are in training. They're going to be evaluated to see exactly how vicious they can be toward whoever. But for some of them, mostly black people, that is their number one target. And the more successful, the wealthier you are, the more that they feel that they need to tear you down. So, jealous of Meghan? Oh, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. You can go back to this or pause it if you have to. And we'll finish with this. This is the Prince of Wales. When given the choice whether to ride front or back, I guess he chose the back. I guess he chose to ride shotgun. He chose to ride in the rear. He wanted to be in the hindquarters of the bike ride. Of course, he did. That's exactly where he wanted to be. Exactly. Okay. I think we get the point. Now, I'm going to play a little sound from this exchange. Unbelievable, William. You are getting careless, sir. You're getting very careless with your words.
Good job.
I didn't kill the future king. Hey!
Thank you so much. Well done. Real treat. It's really good. Your backside is a unique angle that I've not seen before. Backside is a unique angle that I've not seen before.
Say that again.
It's really good. Your backside is a unique angle that I've not seen before.
Your backside is a unique angle that I haven't seen before. Do you want to wager that? Do you want to put a bet on that? Because I think you have. I think you have, and from every conceivable angle. So if you say you haven't, then we don't have a choice but to take your word for it. But I don't know, Willie. I think I'm just going to remain silent because I don't know. And if you don't know, you don't know. But all I can say is, okay, Willie, if you say so, sir. If you say so. That was a very sly way to say what you said. Anyway, you guys, that is it for today, or for now. I will see you. Flirting, are we? Let's hear that again. Let's hear it again.
I didn't kill the.
Okay.
Backside is a unique angle that I've not seen before. It's really good. Your backside is a unique angle that I've not seen before.
And look at the guy is just blushing now. So two things. He has not killed the future king, and the future king noticed his backside is a unique angle that he hasn't seen before. Oh, behave. Behave, Willie. Behave. Well, that really happened. That really happened. Ugh. Okay. William being creepy. You know, I could take just about anybody flirting, but not William. William is too stiff to be flirting with people. You know what I'm saying? Some things are just not meant to be, and that's one of them. Don't ever flirt, William. Don't ever do it. It's not you, buddy. Don't try to be clever, Willie. Yes, trying too hard. Trying too hard. His enthusiasm is peaking. Oh, well. Willie. Maybe that's the reason why Kate has that distant look. Maybe that's why Kate has that distant look. Anyway, I don't want to judge him. I mean, I do, but I'm not going to do it. It's too easy. I don't want to take the bait. Okay, you guys, thank you all so much. I will see you all later. And thank you again. Let's see, Joan Lawman, thank you so much for the gift of memberships. Greatly appreciate that. The Peanut Gallery. I like that. Isn't that what they referred to Charlie Brown, the Peanut Gallery? Okay, I'm gonna finish my nap, you guys. You know, I feel like I could go back to sleep now. So love you guys. I will see you all laters.